All right, let's go. Welcome to another episode of eCom Reality, where we talk all things e-commerce, Shopify, Meta ads, Google ads, retention, CRO, all that good stuff. So, with that being said, let's talk about Facebook ads in this one, or Meta ads, however you want to call them, just because they're still the best ads out there. There are enough agencies out there, people who are trying TikTok, Snapchat, and all of them can work. I mean, even myself, I do use Snapchat frequently for some brands. However, it's far off. It's far off from Meta in terms of scalability, and I would say efficient scalability. So that's why I wanted to make this video, because Facebook ads are just like crushing in general and can crush the most, right? But the thing is that I actually had a call yesterday with someone who wanted to just have a chat about Facebook ads because he had some questions, right? And the thing is that if you do something for a long enough period of time, for you it becomes like really easy, you know? And by that I mean that for me, Facebook ads are easier, right? Than I would say for most people and so on. However, the main thing is that it's still, I would say, hard for people who don't really do this for years to understand just how easy, let's say, it is to look at some things and then try to understand what works and what doesn't, right? Because like, just as I don't know CRO as well as someone who does CRO for, let's say, a living, Facebook ads is also something that you just get better at, and it becomes much easier to understand, to develop, to improve all the time, right? Because that's the thing, just like with almost anything, you have to try something and then see if it works or doesn't, and then improve it consistently, right? It's just like when you start walking as a kid, right? You don't know how to walk from the get-go, but you slowly get better at it, right? Because you try, it works, it doesn't, you fall a couple of times, right? And that's how you see if you are able to walk, and if you are not, of course, like, you try different ways to actually stay stable, right? Same with riding a bicycle and everything. And the main thing I would say with Facebook ads is that if you were to simplify it, right, what are you actually trying to do? Well, trying to launch ads, and launch ads that are effective, right? And by that, what do I mean? Well, ads that are effective means that they give you a good ROAS, right? High ROAS or low CPA in most cases. However, it's not the only thing, right? Because I mean, what if free ads have similar CPA or ROAS, right? Then what do you actually do? Well, you look at softer metrics, right? Such as frequency, cost per click, click-through rate, right? And you try to understand to some extent, like, how scalable is that ad, right? Because if an ad is not scalable, then basically you just won't make as much money, right? And the goal usually with ads is just to find something that works, and then try to scale it as much as possible, right? This is what everyone wants. It's like, how can I find the best ads? How can I scale to the moon, and so on, right? And it's basically all about testing and also having diversity, because, for example, if you test and find a winner, that doesn't mean that you never have to test ads again, right? Like, it's not going to be like that. It's not passive income here. But why am I saying that they are easy? Well, because if you think about it, like, how many permutations there are, you know, like how many variations, like almost unlimited, that's for sure. However, if you were to simplify, you have statics, you have videos, right? You maybe have GIFs in between, but honestly, they are not like the best. They rarely work really well. So if we were to think of that, right, you have statics, you have videos, and then what can you do? Well, with statics, eventually, like, you'll make all of the statics possible to some extent, right? But it's about like angles, and I would say like personas that you're targeting, right? So like, what's the angle? Is it like losing weight? And what's the persona? Is it like a young man? Is it an older woman, right? So these are all personas. And you can even dig deeper, like, is it the 35-year-old guy that likes to drink beer, or is it the 35-year-old guy that actually does fitness, but somehow he's out of shape, right? Why is he out of shape? Well, who knows? Maybe he has a kid, maybe he has too much stress in his life, you know? So how do you speak to all of these people, you know? Like, everyone speaks about this, but executionally, that's where it's harder. That's where, all right, you need to know the strategy, which, first of all, is like a map, right? So you first need the map, and you don't get the map by default, right? Like, you still need to use ChatGPT, or at least have someone with experience to know what kind of like which angles would have priority, you know? Like, these are the questions that are important. You need to understand, like, all right, what's the priority right now, you know? Because some things are likely to work, some things are not likely to work. So it's definitely one of the most important things, knowing what to focus on, right? So is it videos or is it images? Well, honestly, I would say test both as soon as possible, because that's how you find what works better. And then, like, there are enough permutations, but let's be honest, like, if the losing weight angle doesn't work, like in 2 or 3, 4 ads, you know, it's like, all right, it's probably not the best angle, right? And then you move to the next. And this is where it's not just the ad, you know, because like so many people focus on the ads, and that's why I'm saying the ads are easy. Because with ads, to some extent, you can guess what could work, you know? But at one point, it's not just the ad that doesn't work. It's the actual product or the landing page, right? And usually I'm pretty honest with the brands that I work with, you know, like, all right, we won't be able to scale at 3 million with this landing page, with this product, with this set of products, let's say, right? With this AOV, with this pricing, you know, like, there's only so much you can do with ads. Because the ads, let's be honest, in most cases at least, especially for Facebook, their goal is to get in front of someone and get their interest to click. It's not to actually buy. Like, can you convince people to buy? If it's more of a VSL, maybe, but let's be honest, not everyone will do a VSL, and this is where things kind of become to some extent like more direct response, meaning that you can to some extent try to make longer videos and so on, but at the same time it's still the product. And let me tell you why. Because if someone doesn't like the product, they'll just leave bad reviews and your brand will suck, you know, eventually. Because it's still, I mean, as much as you try to sell something, if it's a bad product, people will find out, right? Especially nowadays with the internet and everything. So that's why having a good product, good service is the most important. Like, for example, that's why I'm super confident with whenever I work with a brand that I'll be crushing for them, because I know there's almost no one working as hard as me, almost, let's say, right? Because it's not just about working hard, but also working smart. Also having a great team, right? Like, I know I have some amazing people that work for me, like, that don't even necessarily work for money as much as they were just for like the purpose, the enjoyment, and this is where you need a mix of things. Because like you can find a lot of even video editors, you know, like it's one of the easiest skills to find out there. But video editing on its own is not like that important, because even I'm a video editor, honestly. Like, I've edited all of my YouTube videos for 5 years. Like, yeah, it's been like 6 years at this point. And guess what? Like, it wasn't the video editing skill that got me to around 29k subscribers in my native language, you know? It was basically the subject, the strategy, the words that I used, the psychology in there, definitely the niche, the timing. There was some luck involved there as well, right? So you need to be aware of all of these things. And this is the thing also with Facebook ads. You just need to make sure that you're looking at the things that matter, right? And for example, what matters is to some extent click-through rate, CPC, and the better you can get those, the better your ads will perform. You know, like, yeah, it's ROAS, it's CPA, but honestly, ROAS and CPA doesn't depend on the ad. To some extent, it actually depends on the landing page. Like, you can get a click, right? But you don't control what happens post-click. So It's just like having a Ferrari, right? You catch a girl's attention if you're a man, but that doesn't necessarily guarantee much. Like if you don't know how to talk, nothing will happen, right? So it's exactly the same. Like the ad is just like the Ferrari. It will actually get you the attention, but if you don't have the skills, or like, yeah, the closing skills, the lander, then nothing will actually happen. So definitely need to be aware of that, and yeah, know what you can control and what you can. So I would say that's pretty much it. We'll keep this one short, around 10 minutes or so. Hope you enjoyed it. If so, you can leave a like, comment, and basically until next time, peace out.